Welcome to my Django Rest Framework focus. In this video, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build a RESTful API using Django Rest Framework. So before I proceed, I want to give you a brief overview of what we are going to be doing. So some weeks back, I made a tutorial on this channel on how to build this platform called DevDrive, and we did this with Django. You understand? And that was quite awesome. So we build this web app with Django. On this application, users can come on board. They can come here to read tech articles. They can create their own articles. They can sign up. They can log in. You understand? So on every article you open, there are related articles on the right. We have the comment section there. We have the search field. Over there. We also have pagination. Understand? You can see the pages. The website is being paginated. You can go down to various pages and you always find content. So our goal now is to build this same platform, is to build a RESTful API for this platform, and we're going to be achieving that in this video. You understand? So this application, I already taught it on this channel. I'm going to link it in this video's description with the complete source code as well as the REST API version, which we have over here. This is our REST API. A complete RESTful API involving every aspect of what we have in this web version. You understand? So the source code will also be in this video's description. So it's going to be a win-win for all of us here. So do well to subscribe, like the video, and let's get started right now. Okay guys, so before we get started, I'm going to show you how to set up your project. You understand? So right now, this is DevDrive. This is just the Django part of it. There is no REST API yet. There is no Django Rest Framework yet. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go down to GitHub. So I'm going to drop the link to DevDrive in this video's description. So with DevDrive, you can start with me on a clean slate for this tutorial. Understand? So I'll open GitHub right now. So I'm going to clone the DevDrive repository into our computer, and then you can start building. From there, let me use my Chrome browser to clone it. So let me say GitHub on Chrome. I think I'm logged in on Chrome. Firefox is going to ask me to. So I'm not logged in on Firefox. I'm going to use Chrome right now. So right now I have my GitHub opened on my browser. So don't worry, I'm going to link the DevDrive repository in this video's description, so you can check it out. So you can clone it for yourself and then join me in the tutorial easily. You understand? So right here, so now I'm on GitHub. So I'm going to check out my repositories. I think it should be that so let me click on your repositories. So don't worry, I am going to drop the link to DevDrive in this video's description. Okay, so I'm trying to view my repositories. So you can see I have DevDrive here. So I'm going to simply clone DevDrive. So you can start, so you can follow along easily. You understand? So you clone DevDrive, copy it, so you can open your command prompt. So I'm going to put my command prompt now. I'll go down to my desktop. I'm going to say cd desktop. So I'll just say git clone. Let me make this big for you guys to see. Git clone, and then I'll paste the link here. Understand? Paste. So currently I am cloning into my desktop. You can use a different folder. You can go down to your documents, your downloads. Anyone is fine, but for me, I'm cloning into my desktop, and you can see it is cloning. So once it's done, we proceed. So right now I already have DevDrive cloned into my desktop. So what I'm going to do now is this. So I'll simply say cd into DevDrive. DevDrive, right? That's the name. Cd into. Once I'm into DevDrive, let me see the content of DevDrive will be dir for Windows, and then dir for Windows, and ls for any other operating system. So okay, I think I'm in the so I'm in the right directory. So right now I can simply create a virtual environment I can create a virtual env for my project instance. So I'm going to create one. I'm going to say make. So first of all, I need to install the virtual environment wrapper. Now just say pip install virtual env wrapper -win. So virtual env wrapper -win. So you install the for you need to install the wrapper. You understand? So once you install the wrapper, you can then create your virtual environment. So so once this is installed, we are going to proceed. So you can see it's done installing. It says requirement already satisfied. That is to tell you that I already have it installed before. So right now I'm going to create the actual virtual environment. I'm going to call this virtual environment. We'll call it, just say MK. I'm going to say make virtual env, make virtual env. I will call this drf. Let me just say API env. So my virtual environment is called API env. So once the virtual environment is done installing, I'm going to install the requirements for this project. If you check down the GitHub, so say if you check the repository, we have a file called requirement.txt. This file contains the packages that's going to make this project to work properly. It contains the dependencies for our project. So okay, you can see now my virtual environment has been created. You can see it's called API env on the left, and it has also been activated. So right now I'm going to install, let me just say dir. So right now I'm going to install the contents of this file into the virtual environment. I'm going to run this command. I just say pip install. I'm going to say r. I'm going to say requirements.txt, that's the name of the file, .txt. Enter. So now we're going to have all the dependencies in this file installed inside of the virtual environment. So it's going to take some seconds to install. Let's wait for it. So right now we are done installing the requirements for this project. You can see we are done installing the dependencies for this project. Sorry for that. So once you have done this now, I'm going to open this directory on VS Code. We're going to say code then dot. I'm going to open this directory on VS Code. So let's wait for it to open. So right now we have dev drive open on VS Code. So I'm going to make the font bigger so you can see things clearly. It's too big. Okay, so click on these three dots there, then click on terminal, new terminal. So you can close that. So I usually work on with my command prompt. You can see by default it comes to the PowerShell. So you can you can choose your command prompt. Click on this drop down. This is the best for you to. It's best to use your command prompt on your terminal. It's the best environment you could use on your terminal instead. So click on command prompt on top. So once the command prompt is open, you can see my virtual environment is activated. If it wasn't activated, just run the command work on, then the name of your virtual environment, and I'm going to get it activated. Hope you understand. So right now I'm going to run my server python manage.py. I'll say run server. I'm going to use a different port number because port 8000 is currently occupied. I'm going to say port 8001. Enter. So once our server is up and running, that means we've been able to set up project properly, and then we can now follow the tutorial and start building the REST API version for this application. Just copy the link. You can copy. You can hold down Shift and Control. Click on the link. It's going to open. Just hold down your Control key and then click on this link. It's going to simply open it on a new tab. Because now we have our project up and running successfully. We've cloned it. So what is left now? So right now you have your project up and running. So what is left for you now is for you to follow the tutorial, follow it diligently, and start writing your REST API. So I wish you good luck. Okay, so let's get started right now. So what we're going to do next now, go down to the browser and search for Django Rest Framework. Open a new tab and let's look for Django Rest Framework. So we have that. So open the first link. You can open that in a new tab. So we have it here. So we're going to install Django Rest. We are going to install Django Rest Framework. So you scroll down. Here's the command. Just copy this. Ctrl C. Go down to your editor. Go down to VS Code. Make sure you have your virtual environment activated. So I'm going to say work on. This is my own. I'm trying to activate my own virtual environment. So it's been activated. So right now I can paste this command now and then install Django Rest Framework. So while it is installing,
go down to the browser, and then I'm going to simply copy this and add to my installed apps. You need to add REST framework to your installed apps. So back to your code, go down to your settings.py file, understand? So open that, look for your installed apps. Here it is. You can see that over here. So I'm going to add that. I'm going to call this third-party apps. Then I'm going to paste it beneath. Yeah, that's it now. So we have it already. So once we have that now, so let's start writing our APIs. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a separate app for the APIs. I'm going to call this app DRF. DRF stands for Django Rest Framework. So I think that's not bad. So we want this command python manage.py start app. I'm going to call it DRF. So let's wait for it to get installed. So it has been created, so you can see it over here. So make sure you add this app to your installed apps, just beneath the blog app. Yeah, sorry, it should be in the quotes, DRF. Yeah, it has been added now. So right now, go down to the DRF app. We're going to create a file called serializer.py. It's called serializer. So create a new file, serializers.py. Yeah, we already have the app there, the file there. So the aim of this file is to convert our models into JSON form. If you go down to your blog app, we have some models there. Blog app model.py file, open it. You can see we have the category model, we have the blog model, we have the comments model. So with this serializer.py file, this file is going to help us convert those models into JSON form. Understand? It's going to make those models. It's going to make the data in each of these models be converted into JSON formats. So I'm going to go down to that file right now. I'm simply going to say, I'm going to import a package called serializers from REST framework. I'm going to say from REST framework, from REST_framework. I'm going to say import serializers. Yeah, serializers. And then we're going to create a blog serializer. I'm going to say class. Before we create that, we need to import the blog model from blog app. Remember, our models are in a separate app, you get. So I'm going to make sure we import this category, blog, and comment into the DRF serializer.py file. And so I'm going to say from blog app .models, I think I'm correct. Yeah, .models. I'm going to say import. You can just say blog for now, and then category. We're working with these two for now. Yeah, so I want to come here and say class. Right now I want to create a serializer for my blog model. You understand? I'm going to say class blog serializers, and then we're going to simply inherit from this serializer we have here. I'm going to say serializer. So serializers.model serializer. So this works like your model form in Django. Understand? That's how the serializer works. It's similar to that. So yeah, so I'm going to say class metal, and then we're going to point down to I'm going to say model should be equal to the blog. You understand? And then that's it. And then we're going to add the fields when you want to render. I'm going to say fields, so it should be equal to a list of fields. So remember, I'm going to open this to the right. Yeah, so right now we need the title field, the slug. So over here I'm going to add the ID first, then the title. Remember, the ID is here by default, but it's not, you can't see it, but it's there by default. So I'm going to add the ID, then the title, the slug. So these are the fields we need. The slug, and then what else we need? We need the body, thumbnail. For now we don't need the body, we don't need the user field yet. Maybe later, but not now. Body, thumbnail. What else do we need? Thumbnail, created and updated. Let's add created, and then updated. Yeah, so I think we are good. So now we've been able to work on the blog serializer. So the next thing we want to do now is go create our blog view. You understand? So go down to your views.py. So I go down to your drf app. We're going to go down to the views.py file, and then we're going to simply just say from rest framework from rest underscore before we do from rest underscore framework dot decorators. We're going to simply import API underscore view. Currently, we are going to work with function-based view for now. So later, we're going to migrate to class-based view, then ModelViewSet. For now, let's work with the API view. So right now, I'm going to say def. I'm going to call this blog list. I'm going to say this is a blog view you're working on. I'm going to say blog list as one of our blog view. Understand? And then just here we are going to add the requests parameter like we usually do in Django. Add it there. Yeah, so once we've done this now, so this blog list is going to handle two requests. It's going to handle the get request, and it's also going to handle the post request. So for this to be a REST framework view, we need to add this API view on top. So just up here, I'm going to say at API underscore view. So we're going to have a list of requests to support. So we're going to support the gets and the posts. So this view only support the gets request and also the posts request instead. So post here. So that's it. So we're going to come down to the view now, and we're going to listen for a get request. I'm going to say if requests dot method is equal to, if it's a get request, so we want to get all our blogs, right? So we're going to say blogs should be equal to blog dot objects dot all. Yeah, so remember we need to import the blog model from our blog app. I'm going to say from blog app dot models, and then going to import blog here. So now we have that now. So we have the blog now. Once we've added this, next thing now we're going to say serializer should be equal to blog serializer. Remember we created the blog serializer in our serializer.py file, right? Let's call it blog serializer, not serializers. Blog serializer, and then we are going to simply put in these blogs we have here. Remember I told you that the serializer, the aim of our serializer is to convert our models into JSON data. You understand? So I'm going to add these blogs into this parentheses, and then we're going to say, many should be equal to true. That's because we are going to be having a lot of blog data. You understand? Remember we have several blogs data in our database. So this many equal true is going to just load that we are going to have a lot of blog data in JSON form. Not just one, we're going to have more than one blog data in JSON form. You can call it object or data. We're going to have them in JSON form. And then we're going to return a response. Before we proceed further, we need to import this class into our views, and then we're going to come over here and say from dot serializers. Remember these views and this serializer.py file, they are the same app. That's why I'm using this dots. Yeah, I'm going to say from dot serializers. I'm going to say import blog serializer. Yeah, so and then we're going to return a response. I'm going to say return response. I'm going to say serializer. We're going to return the serializer as a response. Return response. I'm going to say serializer dot data. Yeah, so we need to also import this response. Come over here and say up here. I'm going to say from. So you can see I'm trying to arrange everything. All REST framework importing are going to be together. You get. So I'm going to say just to make your code look clean. You get. So I'm going to say from REST underscore framework. From REST framework dot response. Yeah. So I want to import the response. I'm going to say import response. So right now we already have what was it called? We already have our blog list done. and currently we only worked on the get request. So let's see how things are going to look like. So we are going to create a url.py file inside of our drf app. So I'm going to create, it's going to say new file, it's going to be urls.py. So we have that there. So also the normal procedure is still the same. I'm going to say from django.urls, I'm going to import paths, and then what else? We're going to say from dots, going to say import views, and then we have our URL patterns. We're going to say paths. Okay, but I'm going to just say blogs, yeah, blogs, and then we'll say views dot blog lists. So we need to let Django know about this. You need to let Django know about this url.py file. So I'm going to go down to the project url.py file and then register it there. Yeah, just here. Just come over here and I'll just say paths. I'm going to prefix it with APIs instead. Remember, I'm working on APIs now. API, and then we just say include drf.urls. Yes, so we have that.
Okay guys, so right now we have written our first API view, which is blog lists. This is our API view. And if you check on the right now, we have right on the right side. This is our I'm going back to this. So I'm going to open the url.py file in our drf app, right? So where are you? url.py. So you can see right now you can see over here we've created the URL configuration for blog lists, for the blog list view. This is because these two files, the views.py and the urls.py, these two files are both in the drf app. You understand? And remember, we have to let Django know about the app's url.py file. How do we and over here we have to register the url.py file from our drf app. We have to register it with this part called API. So before you can access the before you can access the URL configuration in the drf app, you have to always prefix the URL with API. Instead, go down to the browser now. Go over here. Remember, we're on a different. I'm going to run on a different port right now. So right now, we're going to run on a different port, and it's going to be we're going to run on port 8008. So I'm going to run the server. Understand? So once the server is done, the server is done. So the browser now, I'm going to say port 8008 and then /API then /blogs.
Okay, right now we have all the blogs objects in JSON form. You understand? So right now these are get requests, and we're going to work on the post request. You understand? So the get request simply helps us with serializing the blog objects. You understand? That's what the get request does. Where is it again? Yeah, I think it's here. This is the get request. It helps us with serializing the blog objects. So we're going to work on the post request right now. And with the post request, we're going to simply deserialize. And deserializing means you trying to create new objects. Instead, we're trying to create new blog objects. So we're going to deserialize the data. So we're going to listen for a post request right now, and we'll say else. We'll say else if requests.method is equal to posts. I'm going to simply just say serializer should be equal to blog serializer, and then we'll say data should be equal to request.data. So this is a way of we trying to create new blog objects, and we're going to check if the serializer is valid. Say if serializer dot is valid, we're going to say the serializer. Sorry. We'll then say save. We're going to say serializer dot save. And once we've done that, we're going to return a response. Let's say return response. I'm going to say serializer dot data, and then we're going to also return a status. And so whenever we create a new object, our server always returns an HTTP 201 created status. So we're going to return that status. We're going to say status should be equal to status dot HTTP underscore 201 underscore created. We're going to simply say, so we are going to return this response if our serializer is valid. But if it is not valid, if it is not valid, we are going to return a different response. So that response is going to be here. I'm going to say return response, return response. I'll say serializer dot errors, and then I'm going to say status should be equal to status dot HTTP underscore 400 underscore bad underscore request. Yeah, I think it should work. You need to also import status. Yeah, go to the top of your code, and then we'll say from rest framework, rest underscore framework, I'm going to say import status. Yeah, I think that should work. To the browser. So we're going to test this with POSTMAN.
Okay, so right now let's go test it. Now let's go create a new blog object instead. So come over here. We are not going to use this. We won't use this field because this field is not really optimized to like for file uploads. If you check clearly in our serializer.py file, we have a field called thumbnail. This field is an image field for uploading a picture for our blog. So we check now, this form you see, cannot implement file upload. So we're going to use POSTMAN. Search for POSTMAN, postman.com. So once POSTMAN is up, so you have to create an account on the platform. It's super easy. So my POSTMAN is coming up. So let's wait for it. So POSTMAN is up. So click on workspaces on the what was it called again? On your left. This is too small. Let me increase it a bit to 100. Come up. Yeah. Workspaces on the left, top left. You can test our APIs. Make sure you are signed up on POSTMAN. Come up. Stop taking time. So right now, click on my workspace. Click on it. Yeah. So right here, click on this plus icon. Okay. Click on the plus icon. It's loading. Yep. So this I'm going to check out for a post request. I'm going to put in our URL. Let me just copy this URL. Yeah. Remember, so it should be on port 8000. Are we on port 8000? Okay, on port. So it should be on port 8008, not 8000 rather. Copy this. Paste here. So I'm going to check out for a post request. Post. So click on body. Then this is too small. Click on body. Yeah, then form data. Yeah, over here. What we have to do now, we're going to put in each of these. So right now we're not going to pass in. I'm going to show you something now. So if you check now our user, and right now we're going to leave user as blank. We're only going to pass in the title, the body, the thumbnail, and category. That's the 4 field we're going to pass in. Understand? So because the slug is meant to come from the title field. Our slug is meant to come from the title field. So right now I'm going to add this function. So simply add a save function. I'm going to simply customize the save method for this blog app. So I'm going to paste the code here to save time. So paste it here. So what this function does now is that, remember, we are meant to get our slug value is meant to come from the title. Understand? That's where our slug value is meant to come from. So you are simply meant to slugify the value of your title field and then pass it to your slug. So right now we are trying to customize the save method for the blog. So right now we check to see if the slug is empty. If it is empty, then we are going to set our slug to the slugified version of our title field, and then we save it. That's all. So we need to import slugifier from the top. I'm going to say from Django.utils. I think I'm correct. From Django.utils. Am I right? Django.utils. I think .text. Let's try .text. Utils.text. Import slugify. Yeah, so I think this should work. Yep, so our server is trying to reload. So right now in our POSTMAN, we're going to pass just 4 fields. The title, we are going to leave, user is going to come later on, but not now. The title, the body, the thumbnail, and category. So to the browser, over here, it's going to say title. So we come over here and put in, I'm going to say, let's call this let's just say pandas full course. Pandas is a Python library. Pandas full course. Yeah, or the next one, the body. I want to say body should be, let me just say pandas for beginners. That's the body of our blog. Let us call it pandas one more time. Pandas full course. I think the thumbnail is going to be okay, I was checking something. The thumbnail is going to be an image field. So click on this text and then select file. I'm going to simply upload a file here for the thumbnail. So you can see on POSTMAN we can upload a file, but on that Browsable API we only add a form that doesn't support file upload. So that's why I had to come down to POSTMAN. So we are going to get down to ModelViewSet. So ModelViewSet, you can see we don't have to. On ModelViewSet, we can upload files on the browser. So now I just simply pass the file here. And the last one is the category. So I'm going to pass the category ID. So we have some category in the database. I'll simply just pass in one of the IDs, and that category has an ID of, we have a category with the ID of 1. So you can see now these are the 4 fields we need to pass. So once I click on send, I hope it creates, understand? So sending requests. Yep, it worked, understand? It worked. So you can see we have our new blog object ID 28. User is now, yeah, you can see our slug has been slugified from the title. We have our image, we have the created. Perfect, it worked. So if I go down to the browser now, if I refresh the page, we are having 27 here. We have a new one, 28. So let's see. Yep, it worked. So now we are done with the get and the post request. So now I want to work on the updating and deleting requests. So now let's do that right now. So now let's work on the blog detail view. So I'm going to create a new function. I'm going to call it blog underscore detail. I'm just going to simply get the primary. We're going to get the requests and also the primary key. So now I'm going to get the blog by the primary key. I'm going to come over here and say, I'm going to say blog should be equal to, I'm going to say blog dots. And I'm going to use the get object of 404. I'm going to say get object, yeah, get object of 404 underscore or underscore 404. Yeah, I'm going to pass in the blog, and then I'm going to say pk should be equal to pk. So now we're going to pass in the API view again. Remember API underscore view, and then we're going to pass in three requests, the 3 methods, right? The get, the put. So the get is to get the get method is to get a specific blog. The put is to update a specific blog, and the delete is to delete a specific blog. You understand? Delete, understand? So we have those guys there. Hope my mic is there. Okay, we have those guys there. So I'm going to say if request. That's method.
is equal to get. I'm going to just say blog should be equal to sorry, not blog. I'm going to say serializer should be equal to blog serializer. I'm going to pass in the blog, understand? And then I'm going to simply return a response. So if equals is equal, we're going to pass in a response, return a response, and then we say return response, and then we say serializer dot data. Yes, so that's it for the get request. So I'm going to listen for the put request. I'm going to say elif. Elif, I'm going to simply say elif if request dot method is equal to the puts request. We are going to simply, so right now we're going to listen for the puts request. This puts request is responsible for updating a specific blog. So we're going to come over here, and then what we're going to do, I'm going to say serializer should be equal to blog serializer, and then this time we are going to pass in a specific blog we want to update, and that blog is what we picked up here. And then we're going to just say data should be equal to request dot data instead. And then once we've done that, as usual, I'm going to check if the serializer is valid. Let's say if serializer dot is valid, and then I'm going to come down and say serializer dot save, and then I'll return a response, return response. We're passing serializer dot serializer dot data, and then over here, if there is an issue, we're going to return a different response. We'll say return response, and we'll say serializer dot errors. And I'm going to simply pass a status that says status.http underscore 400 underscore bad underscore requests. Yeah, I hope this works. So now let's work on the delete method. So come over here and say elif if requests dot method is equal to delete. Then I'm going to just say blog dot delete, and then we're going to return a response, return response, and then return response. What are we returning? I'm going to return a status. Then it's a status dot http underscore 204 underscore no underscore contents. So I think we are done with the function-based views. So now let's go create a URL mapping for this detail view. So I think here is it. Don't worry, the source code is going to be in this video description. So over here, come down here, and we'll just say path, and then we'll say blogs slash, I could just pass in, I'll just say int, then pk, primary key, and then we'll say views dot blog underscore detail. So now I think we've done this now. So what's going on? Okay, our server is currently reloading. So once it's done loading, I'm going to test this endpoint and see how it goes. So right now I want to simply update this
particular blog. Right, so now hope my server is running. Let's be sure hope there's no error. Through an error, missing one required positional arguments. Use a blog detail, primary key. No, there should not be anything missing. Oh, sorry, I think I have to. So let's see if it goes this time. Okay, so now let's test it. Let's try. I want to update this blog. We're going to go down to the primary. We're going to say /28. So I want to change this from pandas. Let's say pandas crash course and not full course. And let's see if it works. Crash course. And then I'm going to change to a puts. Understand puts now. And then let's send it. What's going on? 28 here. So send. So I hope this updates from full course to crash course without any errors. So let's see. Send the request. Waiting. I try an error as I said. Oh, I didn't import this method get object of 404. I didn't import this get object of 404. I don't know why I forgot. So up here get underscore objects of 404. So it should run again. Oh, is it going down? Now let's try again. So let's click on the send button, and I hope it updates it from full course to crash course. Send. What's going on? So now I think it just sends. So like I can see now, it's now crash course. It's now crash course. Let me reduce the size. Okay, you can see it's changed from full course to crash course. So now I think that's it. So now let's work on the get request to get a specific blog. Let's put blog/1. Send the get. Okay, rating. Okay, you can see it got a specific blog post. I think this is just you can see it here. Yeah, so now right now we're gonna delete a particular blog post. Let's delete the blog/28, delete, and then send. And I hope it deletes. Sorry, I'm using the cloud POSTMAN. I think that's why it's taking time. It's on the internet. It's not a desktop agent I'm using. I try an error, unexpected. Failure to have worked. Oh, I returned some to have been returned. Here's that. So this should have been response. Sorry for that error. And I'm sure it should work after correcting that. Server is still reloading. So to the browser, so /28, and then click on send. Let's be deleted. Let's wait for it. Ouch, network, my internet is disturbing with this. So we'll soon be done with this POSTMAN. Let's just be patient with it. So it's saying not found. Let's be sure. Go down to the browser, go down to your blog list, and so you can see currently we have this blog 28 here, and I have deleted it. So refresh the browser, and I hope it disappears. So it's gone. So it's not there anymore. So it has been deleted. It has been deleted. So right now we are done with our function-based views. So now we're going to switch this to class-based views. Let's see how it's going to look like. Let's see how this CRUD operation is going to look like in a class-based view. So let's do that right now. Okay guys, so we are done implementing the function-based views. Instead, so I want to start on let's convert this function-based views to class-based views. So now right now I'll simply comment. Let me comment this out. Don't worry, I'm going to clear it out. Just comment it out so we can write out the class-based views. Let me bring this down a bit. Yep, so here I'm writing it. So I'm going to also comment these guys out. Yeah. Okay, just same here. I think I'm going to write it up. Okay. So just here, I'm going to say class. I'm going to call this blog list API view. So it's going to inherit from API view. So I need to import API view. I'm going to say from REST framework, from REST underscore framework dot views. I'm going to import API view. Yeah, and API view, that's the API view I'm using over here. And just say I'm gonna work on our get request. I'm gonna say dev get, and I'm gonna pass on the self and the request. After we've done this now, what are you gonna do next? I'm gonna say blogs should be equal to blog dot objects is happening dot all. And then you're gonna say serializer should be equal to blog serializer. I'm gonna pass blogs, and then we'll say many equal true. And then you're gonna simply just say return response, and we'll say serializer data. The same thing for our post requests. Let's just do everything at once. Dev post, then we pass on the self and the request, and then we'll then say serializer should be equal to blog serializer. And then what are we going to put in there? So data should be equal to requests dot data. And then after we've done that, okay, the next thing I'm going to check it if you say if serializer dot is valid. I'm going to say serializer. It's just the same thing as it's just the same thing as the function-based view, almost the same. Serializer.save, and then we're going to simply return a response that says serializer dot data, and then we're going to return a status that says should be equal to status dot http underscore 201 underscore created. And then if there's an error, we're going to return a different response if there is an error. So return response. I'm going to say serializer dot errors, and the status is going to be equal to status dot http underscore 400 underscore bad underscore requests. Yeah, so once we've done this now, I think we're done with the with the get and post. So what's next? So right now, let's add up let's create the URL mapping for this view. So just here, come down and say parts. I'm going to simply just put in, we're going to call it blogs also. And here, we'll simply just say views dot blog lists, blog list API view dot as view, because this is a class-based view dot as view. So this is how we do it. So now once we've done this, now the next step is to create. The next step is to work on the blog detail API view. Come down here and say class blog detail API view. We are going to inherit from the API view class. And yes, I'm going to say we're going to have three functions. We're going to have the get, the put, and the delete. So now let's work on it. I'm going to say def get, and I'm going to just say solve, and then requests, and then the PK. So I'm going to say blog should be equal to get object of all for, and we're going to pass in the blog, and we'll say PK should be equal to primary key. And then once we've done this, now passing our serializer, I'm going to say equal to blog serializer, and then passing the blog, and then return a response. Return response, and we'll say serializer the data. That's for the get. Now let's work on the put request, and say def put. You have the same self request, and then PK. Once you've added this, also next step, one of us I'm going to get the blog. Let's then get this blog again. Come to see, paste it here, and then we're going to have our serializer should be equal to, I'm going to say blog. Am I making a mistake? No, should be equal to blog serializer. I'm going to pass on the blog, and then the request of data. Then we'll say data should be equal to requests the data. We're going to check if the serializer is valid. If serializer dot is valid, that is underscore valid. And then what I'm going to do next, we're going to say serializer dot save, and then once it's saved, now I'm going to return a response. Return response. I'll pass serializer the data, and also I'm going to pass, if there's an error, I'm going to pass a different response. I'll just copy this guy, Ctrl C, I'll paste it here. That's for the puts, and now for the deletes, I said dev delete self requests. I think that gap was too much. And PK. I also done this. I'm going to get the blog again. Ctrl C, and then we paste it here. Then we'll say blog.delete. And then return a response. Return response. I will say status should be equal to status dot http underscore I think 204. I think it's 204 underscore no contents. Yep. So now let's create a view. Let's create a URL mapping for this. It's not difficult, just like this. So I'm going to say parts. I will say blogs, and then I'm going to say int primary key, and then after I've done this, so I'm going to say views.blog detail API view dot as underscore view. Yep. So we have this now. So I think we can test it. Or you can see we're having an error here. What could be the problem? Let's see. Line 7 here.py. Let's run the server again. How's that name? Enter. So now let's test and see. Back to POSTMAN, postman.com. postman.com. So now click on workspace. So we have workspace coming up. So right here on my workspace, it's coming up. So click on this plus icon. Let's test our endpoints. This is too big. Let me reduce the size a bit. So just here, personal endpoint 127.0.0.1 8008 /API/blogs. So send a GET request. So it's currently loading. Let's see how far it goes. Throw an error. Throw an error. Sorry, I don't know why I keep making slight mistakes. This is blog, not blogs. Sorry for that. Reload fast, please. Come up. Let's try again. Give me my response. Give me. Same another error. What line is this? Line 16. Views.py. Return response serializer. Data. What could be the problem here? Model base is not iteratable. I've seen my mistake. It's meant to be blogs. It's meant to point to this blog here. Sorry for that. I was rushing this and I was still making some silly mistakes. Okay, I hope it works now. Okay, send. Okay, send. Work. Send again. This is network
network that causes this error. I don't know what's on my network. Send now. Ouch. So now this error is due to the internet. So to fix this error, let's send a request. I'll show you something. I should give me my response now. I need my response. Hey guys, don't subscribe to the channel. We can see I've got my response. Yep, it's working. It's working now. This is my response. So to fix that internet issue, we are meant to use the desktop agent. So click on this icon. You can come over here. By default, it is always on auto select. So to avoid having any problem with your internet, just put off this. Just simply turn off this toggle, and it's going to pick up your desktop agent. And your desktop agent can run locally. It can you can connect to your local code. So I think now it's going to work fine now. So everything is working now. So let's go down to blog/1. Let's see. Click on send. So we are trying to see the get request for a specific blog object. So let's hope it works. What do you think? You can see it also works. That's fine. Let's see for the post request. Let's see if we can create a new body, a new blog. So I'm going to just pass in the title. I'll just say tech for beginners. Let me just pass in the body. So let me just say tech. Let me just put in the thumbnail. That's an image, but select a file here. Let's pick up a file from the. Select a file. Come up. What file am I going to select now? Let's pick this up. Yeah, open. And yeah, I'm going to pass the category as 2, or let's say 4. Yeah, let's say 4. And this is a post request, and then send. I hope it works. You have to work. Try an error. API, what's the issue? Not found. API/blogs. What's the issue? Send one more time. Send. It worked. Nice. It worked right because we have a new article. Let's see if we can update it. Let me just put let's just say tech, just tech, and change this to a put request, and then send. Oh, it says put not allowed. Why? Dev get put. What's the problem? Okay, sorry, I forgot to pass in the ID. That should be 29, and then it should work now. Send. Yeah, it's worked. It's now tech. It's worked now. Let's see if we can delete this. Delete. Send. In the response. Try. Why this error? Oh, I spelled status wrongly. Yeah. So sorry for that. So my server is running again. My server is currently reloading.
Let's wait for it. And then send. Are you taking time? My network. We need our response. We need our response. Ouch. What's happening? So right now, we're able to delete the blog successfully. So we're able to perform the CRUD operation using both the function-based view and the class-based view. So right next, we're moving down to model view sets. Okay, guys. So it's high time for us to implement the model view sets. Understand? So we're wondering, why do we need the model view set? We check closely for each of the actions we perform there. We have to write a particular function for it. For the get, for the put, for the post request, for the delete request, we have to write a single action. We have to write a separate function for each of these requests. And it's the same thing for our function-based views. We have to have 4 different functions under the 4 different CRUD operations. But with the model view set, you just need a single class to handle the whole CRUD operations. Understand? A single class. And the model view set is with model view set, you don't have to repeat yourself several. You don't have to repeat yourself. It supports the dry principle. It supports the dry principle, which is don't repeat yourself. You understand? So the model view set is one of the best tools for building RESTful APIs. Understand? So you don't have to write redundant code. With the model view set, the use of pagination, filtering, actions have been made super easy with model view set. So right now, we are going to switch over to the model view set. So I'll simply comment out those guys. They've done their work and we're happy with them. So now we're going to switch over to the model view set. So right now I'm going to come over here and say, so I'm going to import model view set and I'm going to say from rest underscore framework dot view set, from rest underscore framework dot view set. I'm going to simply import model view sets. And yeah, so I'm going to create a view set for our blog. I'm going to come over and say class. I'm going to say blog model view set. And I'm going to simply say model view set here. And yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to simply put in our serializer class. I'm going to say serializer underscore class should be equal to block serializer, and then the query sets should be equal to blog.objects.all. It's as simple as that. So now this single class is going to handle the create, the retrieve, the update, and delete operations. It handles the whole crew. This model view set helps to do that. So with the model view set, we don't use this form of URL again. We use what we call routers. So right now, come over here and say from rest underscore framework dot routers, or simply import default router. Yeah, default router, and just here, as we just say, router should be equal to default router. So the model view set uses the router as a TRL mapping. So I said router is equal to default router, and over here I'll then register I'm going to simply register a URL mapping for this view. I'll then say router dot register. I'll simply just say blogs. Now I'm going to say views dot blog ModelViewSet. After you've done this, I'm going to clear out all these. I don't need them again. Over here, I'll simply just say paths. Then you're going to simply say include router.urls. So that's all you need to do, and it should work. And I hope this should work too. So now let's run server. So yeah, we need to import the include function over here, the include method rather. So we need to import it. Okay, down to the browser. Now let's use now we can use the web. We can use our browser now to test these APIs, since we are now on the ModelViewSet. So I can come over here and say API/blogs, enter. So we are on port 8008. Enter. Okay, it's working. You can see now we have a better form. So if you want to create a new blog, you can easily create from here because we have a better form now. Come here, add a thumbnail, a picture. I just add this. Let's say this is my blog. So you can see the ModelViewSet gives us a better form. So create our objects, click on the post. Yep, created. You can say it works. Okay, what's the next thing? So we're going to implement the ModelViewSet. We are not done. Okay guys, right now I want to make sure only logged in users can be able to create blog posts. Only authenticated users can create blog articles. So right now we're going to implement authentication into this first API using djoser. So without further ado, we're getting started right now. So right now let's implement djoser. Go down to the browser and we'll search for djoser. So it's called djoser, J-O-S-E-R. Yeah, djoser, Django djoser instead. So let's look for djoser. It's coming up. So with the second link here. Welcome to djoser's documentation. Let's open on a new tab. So we're making progress. My laptop is quite slow, please forgive me. So welcome to djoser's documentation. Pop up, come up, waiting. Apple is almost here. Yeah, I think we have it. So we're gonna we want to configure authenticate. We want to be able to create users and also enable them to log in on the on our REST API instead. So click on settings so you can easily get things done. Click on settings on the left. Click on settings. Is that the right place? So we go back to introduction. I'm looking for some installations to copy. Click on the introduction. Click on getting started. Yeah, I think I've got what I'm looking for. Yes. So you need to install djoser. So this command pip install. Just copy this command. You'll find this on getting started. So just copy this to your text editor. Make sure you have your virtual environment activated. Then you can paste this command there and then install djoser. So it's going to be installed. So we're also going to use simple JWT, Django Rest Framework simple JWT. So we'll also install that. So we're going to use JWT for our authentication. We're getting there soon. So let's wait for djoser to get installed instead. So while djoser is getting installed, we need to add djoser to the installed apps. Copy this and go down to your installed apps and let's add djoser. Where is that settings.py file? So just just under your REST framework, djoser is a third party library. So we're going to paste
it under REST framework also. Yeah, we have djoser there. Why is it taking time to install djoser? Let me waste my time. Okay, what else we need to configure? Yeah, so we need to add this URL to our project url.py file, Because this URL will be able to connect to djoser. Understand? So go down to your project url.py file. So djoser is getting installed already. So you think here. Okay, this is not what I'm looking for. I mean your project url.py file should fix this. So come up. My PC is relatively slow now. I don't know what's going on. So url.py file, where is it? So scroll down. So we're gonna add a djoser URL. Yeah, so we're gonna use paths. Change that to paths. Yeah, and then we'll change this to auths. So you're getting some value already. Do also subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. So we have that there. Okay, you have djoser installed. You need to also install you need to also install Django Rest Framework simple JWT. Instead, so we're going to use JWT for authentication. No, our goal now is to make sure that only logged in users can create blog posts. That's the goal. So for this to happen, we need to be able to create users, and after creating users, we need to also get them authenticated. So we are using djoser for creating users, and then we are then using simple JWT to get users authenticated. So now simply copy this command, copy this to your editor once again, paste, and let's install simple. Oh, I made a mistake there. Simple JWT, JSON Web Token instead. So enter and wait for it to get installed. And while it gets installed, what does need to add? So while it's installing, so click on authentication. Okay, authentication backend. Click on it to configure our authentication straight away. So we have two types of authentication. If you look on the left panel, we have the token based, and we also have the JSON Web Token authentication. So we are going to stick with JSON Web Token. Understand? So okay, so what do we need to add? So I'm going to copy this REST framework, copy this now, and then go down to your string.py file, and then string.py, you have to paste the command just to the bottom of your page. What have I done? Control and yeah, so paste it here. Yeah, make sure you move these 3 ellipses, move that stuff there. Yeah, so we have the command there. So now right now this one will tell Django that yes, we want to use JWT as our default authentication. So yeah, I need to let Django know about it. We've added it already. Okay, what else we need to do? So we need to also add this simple JWT alt header. We need to also add this because we are going to use this for we are going to use this for authentication. I'll show you. So we need to also add this guy, and then paste it just under REST framework. Okay, just under REST framework, and okay. So after we've done that, you need to also add this URL for JWT to your project url.py file. So we are trying to configure both user creation and user authentication. So we are doing both of them. We are doing both of them. So I said before, djoser handles the user creation, while JWT handles user authentication. So I'll copy these two, go down to your project url.py file, and then we'll paste that URL mapping just here. It'll be on the second next line. Yeah. So remember to paths. Yeah, paths, and then we'll switch to. I'm going to call this alt, right? Yeah, so I think this is good now. We've made some progress. Yes, yes. So now we're able to configure both authentication and we'll be able to configure both user creation and authentication. Right now, let's create new users now. So let's do that right away. So this is the endpoint to creating new users. Go down to getting started again. Or yeah, I think that's it. Or the introduction. Let's see. Yeah, getting started. So for you to create a new user, you're going to go down to this endpoint /users. So I'm going to show you how. So now let's run the server. Make sure so you get started. Say Python manage.py run server. So our server is coming up. I told you now. Where we have, so I told that djoser is meant for user creation, while djwt is meant for user authentication. So for us to create new users now, we need to go down to our domain, then alt/users. Here is it. Our domain currently is 127 on the local host at the moment. Local host, right? So I'm going to go down to alt/users. Yeah, so first to create new users, right? Okay. Oh, it's coming up. Let's wait for it. Why is it taking time? Is my server not running yet? Let's wait. So right now we have the form, we have the page loaded. So now first create a new user, you can see asking for your username, the email and password. And so most times it's meant to ask for just username and password, you understand? But remember we have to configure, we have to customize our user model to make the email necessary, to make our email in what's the word now, to make our email necessary while creating users, you get. So that's why I can say we have the email field here, because by default it picks the username and password, but during the Django full course I have to customize the user model to make email required. So that's why we're having the email field here. So I'm going to create a new user. I'm going to call this user, let me call him John. We'll say John. The email should be john@gmail.com. Understand? And then I'm going to create a new password. I'm going to put a password for John. Understand? Make sure your password is follows Django principles. Click on the post button to create this user. This should not take time. I don't think what's going on, so let's wait for it. So now we have John. We have a new user has been created. We have John. This is John now. He has been created now. So we want to get John logged in. We want to get John. Want to sign up John, right? So sorry, we want to get John authenticated. Now John has been. Now we have a new user called John. So it's time to get him logged in. So you have a different endpoint for that. Go down to your JSON documentation. If you scroll down, we have the authentication endpoint starting from here. Currently we are using djwt, so here's our focus. We just copy this URL, this part, copy to your browser. Then just come down here and say 127/. Remember, for your djwt configuration we also use alt. Instead of alt there, so you're going to stick with that there. So say alt, and then we can paste in djwt/create. So with this endpoint you can get users authenticated. So right, I want to get John authenticated. So let's go. I just scroll down. So you can see it's asking for email and password. So right now I'm going to put in the email as john@gmail.com and his username and his password rather. Let me just pass in the password. Now click on post. Measures for races. Right now, it's going to generate a token for. It's going to generate a refresh token and an access token. So now we have these two tokens: the refresh token and also the access token. So the access token, the user can get authenticated. You understand? So what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? So just right here, I can copy this token. So copy this token now. Let's open our postman.com. We can do this on the browser if you want to. So I'm going to show you how it's being done on the browser. I'll show you right now. So I was also show you how to get authenticated on Postman. So currently I'm on Chrome, I'm on the Chrome browser. So you need to go and install an extension called ModEdder. It's called ModEdder. MOD Edder is a Chrome extension. So ModEdder, install this extension. So I want to show you how to get authenticated oh no, it's called ModEdder. Let me search for it. ModEdder, yeah, it's a Chrome extension. Yeah, I think this is it. So just make sure you have it installed in your Chrome. So now my there. So I'll show you how it's done. So we're going to open this. I already have here's my own ModEdder. Click on this plus button, mod, click on the first headers. So right now I want to get authenticated. So the name is gonna be authorization, yeah. And then I'm gonna paste my JWT token here, my access token. But this is my access token. I'll copy it. Copy the access token. Don't copy the quotes, just the token itself. Don't copy the quotes. Yeah. Copy. So it's been copied now. So what's the next step? Go back to your ModEdder. Yeah, so now before we paste this token, remember we have something. Let me show you. Go out to your settings.py file, prefix the token with JWT. You see it says alt header types. You need to prefix the token with JWT. So here I'm going to prefix it with JWT and add a space. Then you paste your token and then you can add it up, and that's done. So now currently this user is logged in, so we are going to try and see if this user is actually logged in. So on this page here we have this endpoint that can only be accessed by authenticated users. These endpoints can only be accessed by logged in users. So I'm going to visit that endpoint right now. I'll visit it now. Go down to 127/auth/users/me. So this endpoint is only for logged in users. Once I hit enter, you can see now John has been able to access this endpoint because of he's logged in. He's logged in at the moment. You understand? He's logged in. Okay. So and our token only lasts for 5 minutes. The token only once 5 minutes elapses, let's assume for example, if this token has lasted here for more than 5 minutes, it's going to expire and this endpoint will not be accessible again. You understand? It's not going to be accessible again. So we want to make sure our token can last for up to 1 hour, because right now it can only last for 5 minutes. Instead, 5 minutes is too short. For example, you can be on Facebook, you can be on a platform like Facebook, logged in on Facebook, and after 5 minutes you are logged out because your token has expired. 5 minutes is too short, right? So I want to make it, I want to increase the duration to like 1 hour. So how to do about that? So I'm going to go down to simple JWT. I'm going to search for simple JWT. Go down to their I'm going to go down to their documentation, and then from there we'll be able to increase the duration of our access token. You understand? So we're almost there. So just scroll down, click on settings. Yeah, settings. Yeah. So now you can see what I was telling you. You can see by default your token lasts for 5 minutes and your refresh token lasts for a day. So now what I want to do now is simple. I want to simply let's copy this, Ctrl C, copy, bring it back, copy it down to your over here, paste it. Then type, so now I'm going to change it to 60 minutes. That is 1 hour 60. After I've done that, now I need to make sure you have time delta imported from datetime import time delta. So the top of the page here, Make sure you have the time delta imported, pasted. Okay, so we have that. So run your server, run server, let's see. And one more thing I want to show you, I'm going to implement that. Where are we? I think we're here. So now this is just like the user profile page. And right now you can only update the username. I want to make sure that a user can also get his username updated and other information. So you check the user model. We have quite a number of fields there that we would like to update. In this thing, you can see we have the profile picture, the address, the phone number, your role, your bio. But currently, the user can only update the his or her username. So I'm going to show you how a user will be able to extend the fields to extend this endpoint to accommodate more fields that the user might want to update. For instance, if I change to Johnny, I can only update my username, which is not what I want. So let me just change to Johnny and click on put. You can see now my token has expired because it has stayed for over 5 minutes. So you can see say now giving token is not valid. But right now we're able to extend our token's lifespan to like 60 minutes. So when next we try creating a new token, we're going to have more time to spend. But right now our token has expired. So let's do that right now. Let's be able to only show you how to update a user's profile by adding more fields to the profile you get. So let's do that. For example, we want to be able to like update our username, our bio, our profile picture, not just the username alone. So you go down to what was it called? Yeah, to djoser documentation. We just search for serializers, search for it here. Let's see. Serializers, so it comes up. I don't think it's coming up. Quickly. It's not giving me what I want. Searching. So let me see if I can find it. I want to show you. So okay, simply click on settings. Yeah, settings, and then scroll down till you find serializers. Serializer, where are you? Okay, here is it. So now I want to we have this current user serializer. This current user serializer. This current user. Where are you? Are you going to the shop? Yeah, this current user. We want to simply be able to customize the serializer so it can accommodate more fields based off our user model. Instead, so we're going to go down to our code now. So I'll go down to your serializer.py file. So just on top, I'm on the right place. Currently, wow, I only have one serializer. So right here, I'll just say from djoser.serializers or serializers, I'm going to simply import user serializer. Yeah, so I've imported that now. So I'm going to paste this block of code here. Okay, let me just. So now, yeah, I'm going to explain what's going on here. So now we have a user serializer. This is just a name, a custom user serializer that inherits from this imported serializer we have on top. It inherits from it and also inherits the metal class from the serializer. And right now, this is what is happening now. So our model, we are currently working on the user model, right? We're working on the user. This is the user model. So I'm going to import it. So I'm going to come over here and say, let's say from Django.contrib.auth import get underscore user underscore model. Yeah, so we have that there. So we have the user, currently we're opening the user model, right? So our goal is to add more fields, because by default it only updates the username. Right now we need to add more fields, the ID, the email, the username. Let's see if it corresponds to the fields we have here. Because we have the phone, let's add the address, phone, let's add that also. So let's add address. So you can be able to update more fields. Address, now let's say phone. After you've added phone, I think we also have role. We need to add role. Okay, let's just add role. Yeah, I think now we have more fields now for updating the user, not just the username. We are not done. One last thing, we need to go add it to we need to let our settings.py file. We need to let Django know about this custom serializer. Let's let Django know about it. So go down to your settings.py file. So right now I'm my settings.py file. So just click down to the bottom of the page. I'll create a new variable called djoser. Call it djoser. It's going to be equal to, djoser. It's going to be equal to a dictionary, and then we're going to have our serializer. Okay. Yeah, just here, I'm going to say serializer, and then we're going to point down to what we have here. Remember, we are working with what's going on. Remember, I think you're working with the current user serializer. So just copy this guy, Ctrl C. So this current user currently points to the logged in user. Copy that. Okay, now paste it here. And then we're going to simply point down to our own, we're going to point down to where we have our custom serializer setting. This can be found in the API app, API.serializers. We're going to point down to this guy, to this class here, and it can be found in, you can see from here, can be found in the DRF app, then serializers, not API. DRF, you can see from what I'm showing you on this, DRF is the app. So drf.serializers, what was the serializer called? Custom user serializer. Let me just copy this, paste that there. Remember, it's called DRF. Okay, so we have this. I think this should be a string also. Yeah, so we have this already. Django knows about our new serializer, our customized djoser serializer. Django knows about it now. So how do we confirm if everything is working? So we're going to run server again, and then we are going to simply generate a new access token again. So I forgot to say something. So whenever you generate an access token, and let's assume you're working on a Django project and you are done with the project, let's say, always don't forget to remove the token from this mod header, because if you don't, you won't be able to log into some websites. Understand? So once you are done with testing your APIs, always remember to clear off this token. Clear it off. If you don't clear it off, you won't be able to access most web applications on the Chrome browser. You understand? So that's why I'm also going to show you how to add your token to POSTMAN. So for now, you're on the browser, so I'll show you how to add your token to POSTMAN to avoid issues like this. I've told you before, if you're done testing your APIs and if you have a token in your mod header, always remember to remove it. But if you don't remove it, you won't be able to access some platforms. You understand? So that's it. Okay, now so right now we need to generate a new, we need to generate a new token. So I'll refresh the page now. So remember, I'm gonna pass in the username, the email is John. It's then John and his password. So I click on post. Okay, waiting for you. Generate our token for us. Okay, our token has been generated. You just simply copy this. Copy. Yeah, just been copied. Go down to your mod header. Add a new. Let's add the token. The name is authorization. You're going to prefix it to JWT with a space, and then you post the token, and then you click on add. So this is the user me. This is the user slash me. So once I refresh this now, okay, it has been refreshed, but there's a problem. We are only seeing just a single field yet. So what is the problem? Let's see. From what I'm having here, we are meant to have more fields that we can update. For example, we are still having the username field, and I feel there's a mistake somewhere. We are meant to have the username, the bio, and email, phone number, address that we can easily update. So but right now we can only still update just the username. What could be wrong? So I think I made a mistake somewhere. So let's see. So back to my settings.py file. So I think this should be called serializers, not serializers. Serializers. Instance, we are meant to see these extra fields that we can easily update. You get, so this should be called serializers. So I think I just corrected that, and I hope it works. I haven't tried it yet. So server is still reloading. Let's wait for it. It's almost done. Yep, so it's done. To the browser, refresh. Oh, perfect. You can see now we have more fields that we can easily update. Now we have the phone, we have the username. I could add my address. I could just say 3 Cole Street or 3 Berkeley Street, Lagos. My phone number, I could add my phone number. The role, I could just say full stack developer. I just say I'm a web developer. I am a web developer and YouTuber. That's what I am. And then I'm going to choose a profile picture for myself. This is better now. Profile picture. Put it in. Don't waste my time. My audience are waiting. They're really special people. I love them. I'm going to pick this as my profile picture. Pick this, open. Okay. And then click on. So now once I'm done adding the field, I can simply update. Click on the put button. Beautiful. You can see now I'm able to update my profile. You can see what we have here. It's awesome, right? So I think that is it. That's that. We're going to make this, so now we're able to update our profiles. Okay guys, so right now I'm going to show you how to add the same token to Postman. You understand? So because some of you guys be using Postman, some of you guys are going to be using Postman to test your APIs. So I'm going to show you how to add the token to Postman. So click on workspaces. I think I'm on the right place already. Click on it, my workspace. Let's just open quickly. So let's see. So while it's loading, let me close on some. So it's coming up. It'll take quite some time to load up. Waiting, come up. Okay, so to add your, what's it called again? Your access token to Postman. So first of all, let's go down to the endpoint. This is the endpoint here. Copy, Ctrl C to, and then you can paste the endpoint here. So after you've done that, now click on headers. You can see we have headers under here. Click on headers. Then we're going to add the key as authorization, and then the value is called JWT. Then the token itself. So we're going to copy the token from here. We'll copy it. Once it's copied down over here, remember you have to add a space. and then paste your token. Done. It has been, that's it. So once I refresh this page now, refresh, I'll be able to access this endpoint because I'll be able to pass my token also on Postman. Instance, so it's trying to get the value, it's trying to get the response. So let's wait for it. Why it does that, you can see right there you've gotten the response. So I will show you how you can also add a token to Postman. Okay guys, so the next task now is for us to, this is the next task. So I want to make sure that only authenticated users can be able to create blog articles. If you're not logged in, you can only view the blog articles instance. So you can only create articles when you are logged in. You can update your articles only when you are logged in, and you can also delete your articles only when you are logged in. But if you are not logged in, you can only view. That's just it. So we need to add that permission to the blog ModelViewSet. So before we proceed to import some items, I'm gonna come over here and say, let's say from REST framework, say from REST_framework, those permissions. I'm going to simply import. I'm going to simply import is authenticated and allow any. Yeah, so and then come and write the permission method here. I'm going to say def. I'm going to say get permissions, and then we'll say the self. Yeah, so now we're going to say if self.request. We're actually going to check out for three methods: the post, the put, and the delete method. So this method requires a user to be authenticated. So now I'm going to check if self.request.method. So I'm going to check if any of the method is in this list of methods. So if it is a post method, if it is a put method, puts should be in, and then this is delete, you're required to be logged in. Understand? So it is delete, delete. So guys, if it is any of these methods, you have to be logged in before you can perform any of these actions, right? So I'm going to return this, going to say return is authenticated. Yeah, it's going to be a method else. If so, we're going to say return. So if the method is not here, that's the get request. If it is not there, it's going to return the is allowed any permission instance. So if you are not, so it's going to be allow any. Yes. So now we've gotten this. So now let's try it and see if it works. So we'll go down to the browser, and then let's try the endpoint. It's called 127.API/blogs. Let's see. Okay, now we have our blog lists already. Let's try that. Remember, we have a logged in user. We have John. John is currently logged in. From what we have here, if I refresh this page, you see that John is still logged in. As you can see, John is still logged in, right? So if I scroll down, you can see you can also add new blog articles, right? Right now, that's because John is currently logged in. So once I log out John, you won't see this form to create new articles. You won't see it there again. So let's try it out. So go down to your mod header, delete this, just delete it, and we are done. So now refresh the page, refresh it, and scroll down. You can see now the create form has disappeared. That's because there is no logged in user. You check now, John has disappeared from the nav bar. If I go down to this endpoint, if I refresh the page, you see something. You can see it says authentication credentials were not provided. And right now we can only view if you're not logged in. Right now we don't have any logged in user again. You understand? So okay guys, right now I want to work on creating a blog post. You understand? So how do you go about that? So I'm going to show you something. Go down to the models.py. Yeah, that should be in the blog app. The blog app, open the models.py or the blog app. So you can see now we have a field called user. So by creating a new blog article, we need to also pass in the author, and that author is this user, the author of this blog. And right now, the author is going to be the logged in user that is creating the blog. That's going to be the user we have here. Instead, so how do you? So now let's implement this. So we are going to go down to the view sets. So what I'm going to do is that we are going to create a context. Just like we have in Django, we have what we call our context dictionary that helps us to pass data to the template. So we are going to have that same context in this blog model view set. That's going to help us pass the ID of the authenticated user to our serializer for us to be able to create this blog alongside the user. So how do we go about that? So over here, so this is how we do it. So I'm going to say def. I'm going to say what's happening. Get, what was it called again? Is it get serializer context? I think so. It's called, I think it's get serializer underscore context. And then we're going to say pass on the self there. And then after we've done this, I'm going to check. I'm going to say if self.request.user, we're checking for the logged in user. If self.request user, we're still checking for the logged in user. So we've gotten it now. If the user is logged in, we're going to simply return. I'm going to simply just say user should be equal to self.request.user. This is the logged in user. After we've done this, what's the next thing? I'm going to simply return. I'm going to say return. Yeah, I think it's going to be the dictionary. I'm going to say return user and then user. So now we can access this user in our serializer. So I'm going down to the serializer for the blogs. I'm going to go down to our blog serializer. Yeah, you. Okay. Yeah, let me open this to the right. Split right. Okay, we have it here. So this is our blog serializer. So I'm going to simply customize the create method. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say def create. Not this. No. What's happening? I'm going to say self and then validated data. Validated underscore data. So now we have this now. So I want to get this user from this serializer from the serializer context. So I'm going to come over here and say user should be equal to self.context, and then I'll pass in. So self.context is referring to this. It is referring to this context we have here from the blog model view set. So since self.context, and then I'm going to pass in this key, which is user. And that points out, and that is simply pointing down to the logged in user, and this is simply pointing down to our logged in user. So now I've gotten the user. I can then create my blog. I'll then say blog, then I can say blog should be equal to blog dot objects dot create blog.objects.create, and I'll say the user. Remember our blog model, we have this user field. So I'm trying to create a blog right now, and then I'm passing in the value for the user field, and that value is going to be equal to this user we got from our view sets, right? So I'm going to say user should be equal to the user we defined on line 17, and then as for the remaining data, as for the remaining values, as for our title, the slug, the body, you can get that from our validated data. So I'll simply unpack our validated data, so you can have access to the other fields. So that's it now. So over here, I'll just go over here and say I'll unpack it and then say validated underscore data, and now simply return blog, blog. So we have this already. So we've customized our create method for the blog serializer. So now that this is working, let's go and try things out. So refresh this page. So don't waste my time, obviously taking time. My server is not down. Okay, server is reloading. Let's wait for it. So right now, I think the server is done running. So as you can see, we can't create a new blog article. That's because there is no logged in user yet. So let's log in. So I think it's here. Refresh. So I'm going to log in as John again. You can decide to create you can decide to create a new user. But I'm going to stick with John for this tutorial. I'm going to say john@gmail.com, then this password. So let's post create a new user. Sorry, you're trying to log in, not create a you are trying to log in, not create a new user. We are trying to log in and not create a new user. So now we have our access token. You just copy it. Now we do it. Copy, go down to your mod header, click on request header, authorization, then you pass in JWT, then the token, space and then token. So now we are logged in. Now we have a logged in user. So I come back here. If I refresh now, user/me, we have a logged in user. So if I refresh, currently we can't create a new blog article. So once I refresh this page, so let's see. So like I said, now we can now create a new article, right? So the user is going to remain. Our user is going to be. Let's stick with John. I'm going to give this title. I'm going to say TypeScript plus React, TypeScript plus React JS plus React full course, right? So the slug, don't worry, the slug is going to come from the title. So I'll just say TypeScript as the body. I don't want to waste time here. And as a thumbnail, let's just add a picture for the thumbnail. Let me just pick a random image. Oh, sorry about that. So I'm looking for a picture that's going to suit. Let's pick something random. Open. And then category, let's just say full. There's no full stack. Let's just say front end. Yeah, and then click on the post button. Oh, sure, the problem. Sorry, I made a mistake. We are not meant to pick user again. We are not meant to pick this user. It should be empty. Sorry, a mistake one more time. Go down to your serializers. You're not meant to have this user field. You're not meant to have this user field as part of the form. You understand? Because we are getting our user from the logged in user. We are getting the user from the logged in user. So you're not meant to pass in the user field once more. So that's a mistake I made. So go down to your serializers, the blog serializer. This is the user field, right? So we're going to set that to, we're going to say user should be equal to, let's say, read only field, read only. Oh, I think I need to make what's it called? I need to make a serializer for our user, for the user. Let's go down to your user serializer, something like this. I'll just come here, let's just say, I think, so now, right now, I'll just say class, or let's just say main user serializer, main user serializer. So I'm trying to create a serializer for our user. We're going to simply say serializers, that's model serializer, model serializer. Okay, so the class method is going to be the same thing. We're going to say class method. Yeah, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to copy this because we're using the same stuff. Yeah, paste it here. I think this should work. This should work, and we're going to simply paste this above the blog serializer, because yeah, so over here I'm going to say user should be equal to main user serializer. Yeah, and I'll say read only should be equal to true. Should be equal to true. So now we're not going to see this user field while trying to create a blog. It's going to disappear. So it's not going to be there while trying to create a blog article. Now let's reload. So our page is trying to reload. So I didn't remember. So refresh the page. So you can see now for each of the blog posts, we now have, what was I looking for? User is null. Okay. For some of the blog posts, we now have the user field that lists out the information about the author of the article. It's time for some of the blog posts. Now, so right now, what you can see now, the user field has disappeared. It's no longer there. It's no longer there, right? So I'm going to say React and TypeScript. And TypeScript full course. The slug, don't worry about the slug. The slug will take care of itself from the title field. So let's just paste the same thing for the body. So I'm going to choose a picture for our blog posts. Yeah, AWS open. So that's just a picture. So category, let's just choose front end. And let's create, click on the post button. All this works this time. Perfect. And so you just made a new blog post. It's called React and TypeScript full course. Cool, right? We just made a new blog article. This is the user, this is the user that wrote the article. His name is John. Right, so that's good now. So we need to achieve this. If I refresh this endpoints, you scroll down to the bottom, we have a new blog post added. React and TypeScript full course. Okay, now so the next thing is this. Now, once we're able to update our blog posts, and to achieve this, we want to make sure that only the author of a blog post can update it. Only the author. If he didn't write an article, you can't update that article. It's only the author of a blog post that should be able to update his or her article. So I want to add that feature. You understand? So right now it's not just because you are logged in you can then go ahead and update any article. That's wrong. That's why I come over here, you can see John wrote. If I go down to blogs/id1/id1, right, enter. Yes, now right now John is not the author of this article. He's not the author because the author is set to null. Right now John has the ability, he has the capacity to update this article, and he is not the author of this article.
So that's wrong. So I want to add a feature. Want to update. Want to simply customize the update method. So it's going to make sure that if you're not the owner, if you're not the writer of a particular blog post, you won't be able to update that blog post. So let's add that feature right now. So guys, right now, go down to your blog view sets, your blog model view sets. We're going to simply customize the update method to make sure that only the author of a blog post can, want to make sure that only the author of a blog post can update or delete the blog post, not any logged in user. So over here, just come down, create a new function. We're going to simply, right now we want to customize the update method. So we're going to say update, and it has some parameters like the self, request, args, and then keyword args. Yeah, I think that's it. And then we have the keyword args, keyword arguments. Yeah, keyword args. Yeah, so I also have that now. So I'm going to simply get the blog. I'm going to say blog should be equal to self dot get underscore objects. So now I just got the blog we are trying to update. You can understand. So after you've gotten that, what's the next thing? So I'm going to check now. So I'm going to check if request.user is equal to blog.user. If request.user not equal to, okay, so if request.user is not equal to blog.user, so I'm going to check if the logged user is not the same person as the author of the blog. So I'm going to simply return a response. So say return response. Yeah, I'm going to pass a dictionary. I'll say error as a key. Error, and then I'll simply just say you are not permitted to perform this action. You are not permitted to perform this action. Yeah, so to the user, so and then so it should be a dictionary. And then over here, I'm going to return a status that says status should be equal to status.http underscore 403 underscore forbidden. And then come over here, I'm just going to just say return super.updates. Yeah, super.updates. You're going to pass in the requests, our args again, and then the keyword args. The keyword args. Yeah, so this is what we need to do. Super.updates. So this super should have is a method, not is a method, right? So so right now that's it for the update. You just customize the updates method. So we'll do the same thing for the delete method. So just copy this and paste here. So I'm going to call this delete. Yeah, the same thing. Super.delete. So now let's go and try this. So now let's try this. Our server is still reloading. Let's wait for it to be done. Reloading. Let's wait for it. Okay, to the browser. So now, I told you before, this is John. John is a logged in user and he is not the author of this blog post. Once I refresh this page now, let's see what happens. Right now, let's see. I just try to just put in an extra, let me just say tutorial.
So right now John has tried updating this blog post, right? So now click on this put button. You can see it says now that you are not permitted to perform this action. So that's the error message. That's the error message we passed there. You see, John is not the author of that blog and is trying to update it, and now he has been warned that it's not permitted. If he tries to delete it, let's see, delete. Ouch, I think it worked for deleting. We've made a mistake somewhere.
Okay guys, from what we saw last, you can see that John was able to delete someone else's blog article, and that was not supposed to be so. You can only update or delete your own blog, you understand? But you can see John was able to delete someone else's article. So I saw where the mistake came from. We go down to our code. This is meant to be called destroy. This method is meant to be called destroy and not delete. So right now I'm going to rename it to destroy. That should be the name, not delete. So destroy, and over here put the same. I'm going to call it also destroy. Yeah. So now once the server is done reloading, we're going to try again and see if John can delete someone else's blog article. You understand? So the server is running, and once it's done running, we'll test again and see how it goes. Okay, server is done to the browser. So I'm going to pick a different article. Let me pick something. Let me just go down with this blog article 39. So I'm going to go down to /39. Enter. And let's see. So right now, John is logged in. He's not the author because this is the author of the article. Dami is the author of the article. John is not the author. John is the logged in user. So let's see if John can delete this blog. Let's see if John can delete this blog article. So click on delete button, delete, and right now it says now you are not authorized to perform this action. And we have been able to work on the update method, the destroy method. We've been able to add permission to the blog model view set. So I think we are done with the blog for now. So right now I want to work on adding comments to blogs. I want to be able to add comments to a blog. So now I'm going to go down to the blog app models.py file. That's where we have our models written. So yes, this is here's the blog app. Open the models.py file. Yeah, so we have the comments. So right now we need to serialize the comments just where we have serialized the blog, and we are only going to be needing the body field. That's all we need for the comments. So let's go do that right now. So go down to your serializers. So just here we're going to create a new serializer. We're going to create a new serializer, and we'll call this comment serializer. So what's happening? I need more space here. Yeah, I'm going to say class comment serializer. We are going to inherit from serializers.model serializer, and then we're going to say class meta. We're going to say model should be equal to comment. So we need to import comments from the top, and then for the fields we need to pass in the ID and the body. So ID and body. Yep, so we've gotten this now. So what's next now? Go down to your views.py, to your drf views.py file. So I think we're going to create a model view set for our comments. It's going to say class comments model view set. So I'm going to explain something to you guys right now. So these are the comments is going to be. We are going to be adding comments per blog. So let me show you. We're going to add comments. So right now to the browser, I want to show you how the URL is going to look like. So I'm going to go down to my blog model list. So for you to add a comment, you have to pick a specific blog. So I'm going to show you what the site looks like, the real front end. Let me show you what it looks like. Here is what we are trying to build a REST API for. So for me to add a comment, I have to read more, go down here, and then I can then add a comment. But right now I'm not logged in, so I can't add a comment. So for you to add a comment, you have to go down to a specific blog and then drop your comments. The same thing applies here. before we can add a comment, we need to pick a specific blog and then add a comment. So yes, so these are the URL will look something like this. We are going to pick this blog with the ID of 2. We're going to say blogs ID of 2 slash then comments. So this is how we are going to add our comments. Understand? So our comment is going to be under the blog endpoint, under a specific blog endpoint. So we are going to work on that, and for us to achieve this, we need to work with nested routers. Remember, you're working with ModelViewSet, and ModelViewSet has to use routers. You understand? But right now, we're trying to add an endpoint under a different endpoint. You understand? So we're going to work with nested routers. So I'm going to search for that now. I'll say drf nested routers. So here's a GitHub repository for it. So just click on this first link. Okay, it's coming up. Scroll down. So we need to follow some of the instructions they passed here. So you need to install this command: pip install drf nested routers. Copy Ctrl+C down to your command to your editor. Then paste the command and then install. So once you've done that, what's the next step? Yeah, okay. So now we're going to copy this. Now we're going to import routers. We're going to import routers, and then let's copy. We're going to copy this. Ctrl+C. Yeah, to drf url.py file. So I'm going to simply paste this command here. So we are importing. I'm saying from rest_framework from rest_framework nested import routers. Understand? Sometimes I've done that again. From what we have here, so they also said router should be equal to routers dot simple router. But currently we are using the default router. We are going to stick to that. So I'm going to simply comment the default router, and over here I'm going to also comment this guy. We don't need that again. I'll just paste down here and say router is equal to routers.default router. We're using the default router, guys. You understand? So default router. Okay, so let me remove this guy. And now we need to also import nested default router, because you're going to use this nested default router to create a URL mapping for the child endpoint. Remember, I told you from what we have here, where is it again? These blogs is the parents, while comments is the child. So we're going to use a nested default router to make that work. So we're going to say, we'll simply say, leave my screen. What is this? Let's come over here and say from rest underscore framework underscore nested dot routers. I'm going to simply import nested default router. So once we've done this, we're going to create a URL mapping for our comment model view sets. So we've done that now. So we're going to create a new URL mapping. We're going to call this blog router. Blog underscore router should be equal to, we're going to say blog underscore router should be equal to nested default router. And then we're going to pass the parent router, which is this. We're going to pass this. This is the parent router. This is the parent. You're going to pass the parent there. I'm going to say router. And then we're going to pass in the parent endpoint. So we're trying to create an endpoint under blogs. And right now, blogs is the parent endpoint for comments. So I'm going to pass in the parent endpoint next, which is blogs. And then we're going to pass in a lookup. So we're going to pass in a lookup parameter. Through this lookup, we are able to detect which of the parent blogs are we talking about. So this lookup helps us to It helps us to point out the exact blog we want to add. It helps us to identify the blog we are working with. That's what this lookup. That what this lookup does. So yes, so it's like this. Gonna say lookup. Hope my screen is recording. Okay, it's recording. I'm gonna say lookup should be equal to. I'm gonna call it blog. So yeah, so it's gonna be. So this is referring to the blog ID. So so after we've done this, I'm gonna come in and say blog dot register. So right now we need to go and create the model view sets that want to register. So come over here, yes, and then we're going to simply say serializer class. The serializer underscore class should be equal to comment serializer. We need to import that to comment serializer. Let's import it. Say comments and then serializer. So once we've done this now, remember we need to also pass our query set, but right now we are not going to pass. We are not going to use query set because we want to get the comment. We want to get a comment because right now we want to get the comment for a specific blog. If I use query set equal to comment.object.all, this is going to give me all the comments in our database. But what I want to do is I want to simply get. We want to only get the comment for a specific blog. You understand? So we are going to simply we are going to use this. We are going to use a different function for that, and we're going to call it get query sets. So right now, so from what I've said so far, so now I want to get the comment for a specific blog. So how do we get this? How do we get it? How do we get this blog? How do we pick up this specific blog? I told you that we have a lookup field here that has this blog and this blog point, and this blog is trying to refer to the blog ID. So remember this lookup you see here is referring to this. Right now I can see we have blog slash the blog ID. This blog ID is the lookup I was referring to in the URLs. That blog ID you see there. So now what we want to do is that we want to get all the comments for this specific blog. You understand? So that's what we want to do. So over here to the browser, to our code now. I'm going to say blog underscore ID should be equal to self.keyword arguments, keyword args dot query params dot get. I'm going to say blog underscore pk, and that's all we have over here. That's what it's pointing to over here. So once we've done this, so now I'm going to say comment should be equal to comment.object.filter blog underscore ID should be equal to the blog ID we picked from the URL. Understand? Blog. So I'm going to say blog underscore ID, and then I'm going to simply return the comments. Return comments. So right now this is our comments model view set. So I'm going to go down to our URLs now and say blog underscore router dot register. We are going to call this comments. So we are trying to pass an endpoint for this view set. It's going to be comments, and we are going to say views dot comments model view set. And we're going to pass a base name. This base name is like a general. It's going to be the general URL. It's going to be the group name for anything relating to these comments. All this base name refers. It's going to be the group name. It's going to be the group URL that is going to be pointing down to the comments to the comment view set. Understand? So I'm going to call this base name blog on the blog comments. Understand? So it's nothing big. It's not a big deal. So we're just going to call it. Yes. So that base name is important. So whenever if a particular model view has this get query set function, it will always have this base name comment. This base this base name attached to it. So once we've done this now, we need to register this part. You need to register it. Go down to your browser, and then we'll say parts, and then come over here and we'll say include blog_router.urls. And yes, I think we've done that's good now. So let's run the server and make sure everything is working as expected. So right now to the browser, come over here. So we have blog hyphen the blog ID then comment. So if you refresh this, you throw an error. This object has no attribute query underscore params. It says I made a mistake somewhere. So that query params dot gets query params. Sorry, it's called self.keyword args, not query params. Self.keyword args dot gets. Query params is something different. Sorry for that mistake. So refresh. Comment is not defined. Make sure yes imports comment. That is coming from line 58 views.py. So now views.py, make sure let's go up there and import comments. So this is what it should be. Keyword args, not query params. That was my mistake. So now hope it works to the browser. Refresh the page. Yes, right now you can see now we got some comments for this particular blog post. You understand? I can even add new comment. I can say, wow, I love this. I can add a new comment. I can say, wow, I love this post. I love this post. You understand? So click on the post button. Oh, you can see you're having an issue. For you to create a particular comment, you need to pass in the blog ID. Look at what I'm showing. Look at what I'm showing. Go down to your models.py file. I think you remember there was a models.py file. Where's blog app models.py. So I can see our comments. Remember in our serializer we only pass the body field. We also need to pass the user and the blog. So let's go and work on that now. So I forgot to do that. So let's work on that. So I'm also thinking if we can add permissions. Where's our view sets? Let's go down to our drf view sets. So I was thinking if you could add permissions whereby if you are not logged in, you can't add a comment. Instead, you can only add comments only when you are logged in. But instead, you can only add comment. But you will also allow you to read comments while you are not even logged in. But before you can add a comment, you must be authenticated. So let's add that feature. Remember, we have the feature up here. Please get permissions. I'll just copy this now. Ctrl C. So this would make sure that you can only add a comment if and only if you are logged in. So we have the permissions added. So one more thing is that I want to also pass the blog ID and then the user ID, the logged in user, to the serializer. And how do we do that? Is by a serializer context. I'm going to say def get underscore serializer underscore context instead, and then I'm going to have the soft parameter there, and here we are going to simply have the blog underscore ID should be equal to, I will just copy this, Ctrl C, and paste that here. And what else? I want to get the user. The user should be equal to request.user. That should be the logged in user. And after I've done this now, I'll just come over here and say, let me just say blog should be equal to blog dot objects dot get ID equal to blog underscore ID. So also done this now, I'm going to simply return. So I'm going to return blog pointing down to blog, and then user pointing down to user. So you have this now. Go down to your comment serializer, So we're going to work on the create. We're going to customize the create function. We're going to say def create, and remember it comes with two parameters, self and validated underscore data. So right now I'm going to simply get our user. Our user is equal to, we're getting this from this context from here. I'm going to say just say self.context, and I'll say just passing user. And as for the blog, I'm going to simply say self.context, simply passing the blog. Once I've done this now, you can then say comment should be equal to comment.object.create. I'll say user should be equal to user. So let's start with blog. Blog should be equal to, there is no particular order in creating this thing. That was just my personal preference of starting with the blog, because from the model the blog comes first. I'm going to say comment.object.create blog, and then I'm going to pass in user should be equal to user, and then the remaining fields we're going to simply unpack the our validated data. Understand? So underscore data. Also notice now I'm going to simply return comments. Understand? So I think this should work now. It should work. I hope it does work. Yeah, so let's see if we can refresh this page. It says request is not defined. That should be line 69 in our view sets. Line 69, so it should be self.request.user, self.request. Line 69, self.request.user. Understand? So to the browser, refresh the page. Yep, so now a user is logged in. If this user is not logged in, you won't be able to see, you won't see this comments form here. So I'm going to add a comment. I'm going to say, wow, I love this post. And then click on the post button, and boom, it worked, right? If I refresh this page, you can see now these are the list of comments under this particular blog post. Understand? If I go down to a different blog, if I go down to blog/3/comments, you can see this. There is no comment under this post. And I will just say keep it up to the author, keep it up. And I click on post. Yep, so it's done. So you can decide to edit a comment if you want to. I want to edit this comment now. I could just put in / the ID, which is 7, and then yeah, you can see now / the I as the ID, right? Let's refresh the page first. Okay, I could say keep it up bro, and then put has been updated, right? So now it's working fine. So what I want to do now, I want to be able to work on the updates method, and also on the delete method, whereby only the commenter can be able to update his or her comment or delete his or her comment. A different user will not be able to update someone else's comment, or understand. So right now I'm going to simply go down to the comments model view set, and then we're going to just copy the same functions we have here. It's going to work. It's going to also work. Ctrl C, and then I'll simply just paste it here, and then we have I'm going to simply make some changes. And I'm going to say comments should be equal to self.getObject. I'm going to say if request.user is equal to comment.user. Yep, so I'm going to return this response. Okay, same thing. I'm going to come over here and say comments So you cannot go up and edit someone else's comments. No. So you're going to say if request.user is equal to comments.user. So I'm going to say return response. Yeah. So this should work. Once our server is done reloading, we're going to test it out. So refresh this page. So I'm going down to blog 2. Blog 2. And the next the comments we have there. So we have this comment to the ID of 1. If I go down to that comment right now and click on enter, so if I try to update this now, I might just want to say thank you so much. If I click on put, we are meant to have a warning message. We are meant to have an error message that tells us that we are not supposed to be able to edit this. Instead, click on the put. You can see now it says you're not permitted to perform this action. The same thing works for our delete. If I try to delete this particular comment, if I try deleting it, it should not work. Instead, so this is perfect. It works well. So next thing I want to do now is I want to do, so we'll be able to work on the comments. That's perfect. So if you're not logged in, you can't add the comments, and you cannot also update someone else's comment. So what I want to work on is this. Now, go down to our web app. We have this. And I can see for this application, for this particular blog post, JavaScript course for beginners, we have some related articles on the right. So I want to show you how we can implement this, so that on every endpoint, where is it? So now for every blog article we have, we want to also have the related articles to that blog. So now let's do that right now. Okay guys, right now let's work on adding the related articles for a particular blog. So go down to your serializer, to your blog serializer. Yep. So we're going to add a new field called, I'll call this related underscore blogs. So this field is going to point down to a function. I'm going to create a function now. Let's call this function, I'm going to call this def related blogs, related underscore blogs, and then it's going to have the self and then the blog itself, the blog objects instead. So over here, so what I want to do is I want to return, for example, let's assume I want to return the blogs that are related to a specific blog. For example, now for blog ID 2, this blog is under category 3. So I want to have a separate object in this particular field, in this particular JSON data, that's going to return all the blogs that are in this same category with this blog with the ID of 2. You understand? So I want to return similar blogs to this given blogs. What I want to do, and we are going to do that by filtering the blogs by their category. You understand? So over here, I'm going to say category should be equal to blog.category, and then I'll then simply come down here and say blogs should be equal to blog.objects.filter, and then finish. Now I'm going to filter. I'm going to say blog.filter category equal category. Now I'll say .exclude. So we're going to simply exclude the current blog we are on. We don't want to include the blog we are currently on as part of the similar blogs. I'm going to say exclude ID equal to blog.id. Once we've done this now, we're then going to say serializer should be equal to, so we're going to put a different serializer for this blog, for this feature. A different serializer. I'm going to call this serializer simple blog serializer, because if we use the same serializer, it's going to return an error, because we're going to be having what we call I can't remember what it's called. It's called recursion. We're going to have an error called recursion, whereby we keep on. So I can't really explain what the error is, but it's a kind of recursion error because we are using the same serializer inside of the current serializer. We are meant to use different serializers instead. So I'm going to create a much more simpler block serializer for this feature. I'm going to call it simple blog serializer. Simple block serializer. I'll call it serializers dot model serializer. I'm going to say class meta. So model should be equal to blog. So I'm gonna copy these fields, Ctrl C, and I'll remove some of the fields. So we only need the title of the blog, the title, the slug thumbnail. I think I'm gonna remove the category. Okay, let's just stop at category. Yeah, that's all we need: title, slug, body, thumbnail, created, and category. I think we are good. So we're going to say serializer should be equal to simple block serializer. Simple. We're going to say simple blog serializer. We're going to pass in blogs, and then we'll simply then say many equal to true. That's because we're going to have because we are likely to have more than one similar blogs. And then we'll then say return serializer dot data. So once we've done this, now remember we have these related blogs that we have that we declared here. We're going to come over here and say related blogs, related blog. Remember this is not part of our blog model. So it's going to be, so we're going to simply use a method field for it. We're going to use a serializer method field for it. Okay, we're going to say related underscore blog should be equal to serializer dot serializer. It's going to be called serializers dot serializer method field. I'm going to say method underscore name should be equal to related. We are pointing down to this function related underscore blogs. And let's hope this works. Okay, it's reloading. So that's the browser. Refresh. Ouch. Okay, I think our token was expired. So right now, we don't even need a token right now. Let's remove that token. We don't need a token at the moment. Refresh the page. Okay, you can see we have our related blogs. You can see we have it for this given blog now with ID of 2. We have the related blogs. You can see it. Wow, it's quite much. You can see that. So we have our related blogs now. That is just how we have it over here. Instead, how we have it over here too. Okay, now we are done with the related blogs now. The next thing we want to do, we want to add pagination to this blog list. So now let's do that right away. Okay guys, so right now I want to add pagination to this REST API instance. So this is what it looks like. So let me show you what it looks like over here. Go down to the home page. So you scroll down, this is what we call pagination. Currently on page 1 we have 4 articles. You go down to page 2, we still have another 4 articles. So it goes on and on like that. So we want to add this same feature to our REST API. So how do we go about it? So go down to your editor. So I'm going to open let's open our views.py in the DRF app. Open the views.py. So I'm going to do some importing now. So just go down to the top and I'm going to say from REST framework dot pagination. We're going to simply import page number pagination and go down to your, so you want to add the pagination to this view set or our blog list. So I'm going to say pagination underscore pagination class should be equal to page number pagination. Once you've done that, now go down to your settings of PI file, and right here under your REST framework, we are going to add a default size for the pagination. I'm going to simply just say page size. It should be a string. Page size, let's say page size should be, let's say 10. Okay, so we've done this now. So now the browser, and then let's refresh. Sorry, not here. So our blog lists, refresh the page. So as you can see, we already have our pagination added. You can see page 1. Look at on the top right, page 2. So let me show what's going on. So currently, this 28 means that we have 28 blog articles in our database. And this next link is pointing down to the page 2. You understand? On each page, I think we have how many articles per page? Oh, since I'm saying, what am I saying there? We are going to have 10 articles per page. Currently, I can only see one article. Okay, now I just had to refresh the page now, and we have 10 articles per page. You understand? So this 28 means the total number of articles we have in our database. So this next is trying to take us to page 2, where we can see the next 10 articles. And the previous is pointing down to null. That's because currently we are on page 1, and page 1 is the first page. So and the results here is pointing down to an array of blog data. We'll go down to page 2. Currently on page 2 we have another 10 articles and so on. So remember, if we go down to the browser now, we are having a warning message. You can see the warning. It says that you have specified a default page size pagination in your REST framework setting without specifying a default pagination class. So for us to remove this warning, so what I'm trying to say is that over here we have to set a page size, a default page size, and it's trying to say we are also meant to set a default pagination size, a default pagination class in this REST framework. That's what it's trying to say. But currently I don't want to do that, because if you do that, that's going to add a pagination to all your view sets, to all your models. So I don't want to paginate all my models. So how do I remove this warning? So it's simple. So I'm going to create a new file in my DRF app, and I'm going to call this file pagination.py. So in this file, I'm going to simply say from REST underscore framework dot pagination, or simply import page number pagination. Now create a custom pagination class. I'm going to say class custom pagination, and I'm going to simply inherit from page number pagination. Also, I've done this, I'm going to add a page size of, let's say, 4 items per page. So after I've done this, now go down to my views and I'll import it. So let me just say from .pagination imports custom pagination. So I'm going to remove this other one I imported here, and and I'll simply say pagination class should be equal to custom pagination. I think this should work. And then go down to your settings.py file and remove this page size. So now I hope this works. So now let's see if our browser refresh now. So right now we're having 10 blocks per page. Right now we should be having 5 because in our custom pagination we have to set the page size to, okay, we should be having 4. We have to set our page size to 4. So the browser refresh. Ouch, there's no pagination added to it, so what's the problem? So right now I think I've seen the cause of the problem, and that is this should be page size equal 4. So this should work. So when the server is done reloading, let's go back to the page again and try. So refresh this page. So you can see it's working, and we have 4 articles, and we have how many? We have 4 articles per page. Understand? So you can set up page. You can use this button. You could use this link to move. You understand? To go from one page to another. So right now we've been able to add our pagination to the blog list. So right now I want to work on filtering. I want to be able to filter blogs by their categories. So right now let's add a filtering to this tutorial. Okay guys, so right now we've been able to add, what was it called? We've been able to add pagination to our blog. So right now I want to also make sure we can be able to filter our blogs by category. If I come down here, I want to do something like, if I say category, I want to do something like this, putting the question mark, then category equal to backend. So I want to get the list of backend blogs. That's what I want to do. Instead, if I do this, I want to get only the list of backend blogs. If I come here and say front end, I want to get only the front end blogs. So how do we implement something like this? So let's do that right now. So to your browser, to your code editor rather, go down to your views.py file. So now I'm going to simply customize this query set. Come down here and say, I'm going to say def get query set. Once you've done this now, I'm going to pass in the self. Okay, and then I'm going to simply say query set should be equal to, let's just say blog.object.org. Control C. Paste it. Let's remove this. Once you've done this now, I'm going to simply check. I'm going to say if self.request query params, query underscore params dot get category. So what I showed you here is what we call a query parameter, and this is the value. So you're going to check if this query params exist in our URL. If it exists, so what do we do? So I'm going to simply say category, or we could simply just say, sorry, something just came to my mind now. We should just come here and say category. Category should be equal to self.request.query params dot get. So we are doing that first. So we'll now check if category exists. We're going to say if category is not none. So if it is not none, we are going to simply say query set should be equal to. So this is a new variable. So we are going to update this other variable up here. I'm going to say query set should be equal to query set dot filter category equal to category. Instance, you are filtering. Instance, what you are doing now. Remember, this is a blog. So you are filtering this query set by the blog, by their category. So you are checking to see if this query set has the same category as what we are picking up here. So if so, I'm going to simply return query sets. Mind you, this should be outside of the if block. Instance, so it should be outside of the if block because this might not always exist. And if it does not exist, you want to return the main query set. if the category exists, want to return the filtered blogs. Understand? So right now we are filtering the blogs by the category, and right now we're having an error that says it's trying to say that we need to add a base name to the blog ModelViewSet routers. I told you that whenever we are using the get query sets, if this whatever view set you're working on, that view set must have a base name attached to it. So go down to your routers, your urls.py file. So this is the router, this is the URL for your blogs. So I'm going to add a base name. I'm going to call it blogs. Yep, so now hope this works. So this fixes the issue. So let's run the server. Yeah, okay. It's the browser. If I refresh, field ID expected a number but got front end. It expected a number but got front end. What is the problem? Here's our views. So right now it's saying it expected a number, but right now I'm passing in front end, right? Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is this. You just come over here. I'm going to pass in the category ID. You just say 1 and then enter. So right now, what's it giving us? It's giving us the blog post to the category of 1. Check again. This is another one. This is another blog post to the category of 1. So you can see right now we're having the blog. We're having a set of blogs with a category of 1. If I pass into here, you can see now it's working, and then scroll down. Where's the next blog with the category of 2? You can see so the filtering is working. The filtering is working fine. So we have to get our category by its ID, and then we check if the category exists. If it exists, we then query the blogs that falls under that category, and then we return it. So it's working fine. It's working. Okay, guys. Right now, we want to add a search filter to this to our REST API. And so I want to add a search filter whereby you can search for a particular blog post. So go down to your code. So we're going to head out to our code right now, and on top of our views now, we're going to come over here and say from REST framework, from REST_framework dot filters. I'm going to simply import the search filter. So we go down to our blog ModelViewSet. So over here you can simply just remove this. You can simply just come over here and add, I'm going to say filter underscore backends. And just in this, it's going to be a list. It's going to put in the search filter we just imported. Search filter. Alright, here I want to search based off the title of our blog. I'm going to put in the search fields. I'm going to put in the title. Let me be sure that's what it's called. Okay, title and body. I'm going to search by that. Yeah, let's put that in title, and then the body. Okay, so right now, 1 minute. Okay, up here, okay, I think I made a mistake. Should have been search filter. I added the search filter. That's wrong. Yep, so that should fix. So let's see if it works. Okay, our server is up again. So refresh this page. So you can see we have this button. Click on it. So right now you can search for. I could just search for, let's say, Django. Click on search. So right here, you can see now there is Django in our title. You can see there's Django in this also. Instance, so you can search, or as far as the keyword you imputed, it can be found in either your title or the body, that article is gonna pop up. You understand? So that's how it works. Okay, so we are done adding the filtering. We've been able to add pagination. We've been able to add filtering to our blog. So what is left now is for us to document this API. And we are going to be using POSTMAN to document the API. But one thing is this, I'm going to show you how to document this API with POSTMAN in the next video. So if you've not subscribed to my channel here, so please do also subscribe now, so you won't miss out when I publish it when I publish the video on how you can document a RESTful API using POSTMAN. So subscribe now so you won't miss out. And the complete source code to this REST API, the complete source code including the front end, you understand, the UI, so including the front end due to Django, everything is going to be found in this video's description, the complete source code. So check it out so you can follow along with me. So thank you for watching. If you gained some value, please do to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and we'll meet again in the next video. So stay blessed and bye bye.